Greetings. Welcome to Queen L LLC. This is Queen L. Thank you so much for joining me today. So today's video is regarding the first week of July. And yes, I know I'm about a day and a half late with getting this rolled out, but such is life. So let's dive right in. If you see me look off screen, like I always say, I have my notes pulled up all around me. So that's what I'm looking at. Now, I will tell you, there is a lot of heavy emotional energy taking place this week. I'm a part of a spiritual community, and folks have been, saying that it's been rough, and really it depends on your planetary placements to determine just how heavy this energy is. We do have the full supermoon in Capricorn coming up on July 3rd. I'm filming on July 2nd and posting hopefully on July 2nd as well. So yeah, we have the full supermoon energy, and we're in the shadow period for that. We have four planets in retrograde right now, and two more by the end of July, being Venus, which goes into retrograde in a few weeks, and we have Chiron going into retrograde in a few weeks. You know that I'm going to be all over that. But to dive into this week's energy, it's a lot of heavy fixed sign energy. So our fixed signs, and we have those three modes that are cardinal, mutable, and fixed. And fixed energy that's taking place this week is with regard to our Taurus and Leo placements. The four fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. So again, we have heavy fixed energy, and what I mean by that is a lot of stubborn, a lot of some stagnant energy, some unshakable, inflexible energy taking place. And not to say that those signs are just all of those things, but those are fixed signs, and those are qualities that are aligned to those signs. There are qualities aligned to all signs, whether they have a positive or negative connotation. So we have heavy fixed energy this week. We also have light air sign energy. So there is pretty much a disbursement of energy from the other elements, being water, fire, and earth, but we're really light on air energy. So that really kind of goes hand in hand with the heavy fixed energy. There's not too much free-flowing energy, and that just means that there's a need to almost go against the grain, go against what you'll feel the urge to do, which is kind of just sit in it and feel stuck and wallow in the energy, but to push through it, to work with it, to move through it, because we can all work through it, right? Also, with this energy, we have the four retrogrades that are taking place right now, and those are Saturn, Neptune, Pluto, and we have a true node retrograde taking place right now. I don't believe I did a video on the true node retrograde, so I'm going to do a video on that. That's what that makes me think about. So probably after filming this one, that'll be one of this week's videos, just to talk about the true node retrograde that's taking place right now and what that means. The true node is also referred to as the north node. There's a north and a south node, and those are lunar nodes that represent where the moon's orbit intersects the sun's orbit. So we have a north and a south one. North is also called true node. So I'll link my true node or lunar nodes video above. If you hear booms in the background, firework central right now with the upcoming federal holiday. So anywho, with these retrogrades, so retrogrades are a time for us to really reassess, to review, to not necessarily to revisit as far as going backwards or looking back on things that have occurred in our life, but really it's about assessing the choices we've made, assessing our lifestyle right now with that Saturn retrograde, and the Pluto retrograde has us revisit essentially where we were in recent years, in recent months, depending on which planet's retrograde we're referring to. The Neptune retrograde, I posted a video about that recently, just this past week, so I'll link that above. It's all about revisiting what motivates us, what drives us, and to take steps to move forward from, that review, to move forward into the next chapter of our lives, essentially. Okay. Now, also to kickstart the planetary aspects that we have, and I always link my aspects video above, we have taking place what started July 1st and 2nd. Again, we're already in the shadow period for this upcoming full supermoon, but we have the Sun sextile Jupiter and conjunct Mercury. Sextile and conjunct energies are very positive. A conjunct energy is just kind of super energy for those planets working together. Sextile energy is all about a synergy, and energies blending together. So a lot of great energy entering into this first week of July. And this is about abundance and manifestation. And it's happening because of you staying true to who you are. So if you're seeing growth in your life, if you're seeing just great abundance happening in your life, if you're seeing all of those manifestation rituals and that regimen that you've done, those mantras, those affirmations coming to pass, it's because of you being you staying true to who you are. So it's important in this time, especially as I talk about the other aspects taking place as we get further into the week, to don't fall into imposter syndrome. Don't play the why me game, because that's that lack mentality that we almost fall into as soon as things start looking up. It's like, well, wait a minute, and then the skepticism crops in. I'm telling you, don't fall for that, okay? Counteract that with, why not me? And of course, this is exactly where I desire to be, right? So moving into the next aspect, which also started July 1st. So July 1st through 3rd, we have Venus square Uranus. And we also on the 3rd have that full supermoon in Capricorn that I mentioned. And that full moon is opposing the Sun and Mercury. So what does that mean? Now, the square aspect, it's facing things head on. It's a conflict that you identify or that you have been presented with, and it's finding and seeking and finding resolution. Okay, that's how you work with square energy. It could be a butting of the heads, but as long as you don't just fall back and let things happen, or let yourself become overwhelmed, or let it overtake you, and you actually come to a resolution, then that's where you can get through that energy, where you can work with that energy. So here's some little baby playing in the background. Anyway, Uranus, yes. So Uranus is our planet of surprise and innovation. With that Venus square Uranus energy, relationships will see some issues pop up, issues that will prompt you to kind of look at things and try to figure out, what you really want. And, okay, this is shaking things up in my relationship, and I don't necessarily like how it feels, but it's okay. Things happen, such as life. The important thing is to identify, okay, is there a lesson to be learned out of this? Or, yes, or if it's my spirit guides, yeah, or it's my spirit guides giving me pause so that I can use this as a time to just reassess things, reevaluate things, and that ties into the retrograde energy. So also channel the energy of that full supermoon to figure out what you really want. Okay. Now, July 6th. So we don't really have much happening July 4th through 5th. July 6th, we have the moon opposing Venus and Mars. Now, what that means is an emotional roller coaster. Now, I will say, like I mentioned at the beginning, it's all about what your placements are in your chart, what houses your planets are placed in, what signs your planets are aligned with, because that will determine whether you even feel the energy. There's enough energy going around right now, specifically with those retrogrades as well, that everyone's going to feel something. But as far as how heavy it affects you, that is dependent on, I will be honest and say, depending on how aligned your chakras are, it is dependent on those placements as well. Okay, so I said we have a lot of fixed sign energy, specifically Taurus and Leo. There's also water sign energy. We have, as you know, the sun just entered Cancer. We're in Cancer season, so yay, Cancers. Then we also have Mercury is in Cancer right now. We have Neptune, which is in retrograde, is in the sign of Pisces. And we have Saturn, which is also in retrograde, in the sign of Pisces. So that's that water sign energy. So if you're a water sign, and also if you have a fixed sign, so Taurus, Leo, Sagittarius, or Capricorn, then you'll feel this energy, because also the full supermoon is in Capricorn. Okay, so upon further review, the fixed signs are Taurus and Leo, which I already knew because that's where most of our placements are this week. But also Scorpio and Aquarius. I was close, but Capricorn is a cardinal sign, not a fixed sign. So Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius. Those are our fixed signs, okay? All right. So that's that. The emotional roller coaster I'm talking about will probably be most heavy for those zodiac sign members. And specifically, since we all have every zodiac sign in our chart, even if you're not aware of that, pull your chart for free online and you'll see it. Pull a circular chart. The only way maybe the energy won't be as strong for you in any area, if you have those wherever those placements are, is if you have empty houses. And I only get so many that I can link above, but if I'm unable to link my empty houses video above, I posted just like a few videos ago, so check that out. With regard to the empty houses, it just means that the energy is not, like, there are no planets giving extra energy into that house. So every house is aligned with at least one zodiac sign, depending on how your houses are distributed. And then because there are 12 houses, but the houses for everyone is super unique. So it's not so cut and dry, like every single house being a certain number of degrees, like 20 degrees. It's not that black and white for everyone. So that would be the only way that, let's say if you have a water sign placement, but you don't have any planets in the house that's aligned with that sign, then you might not feel as much of this emotional energy that someone else would. Or you see, okay, the moon is in Capricorn. Well, my Capricorn is in the third house, my house of communication, but, or that's what it's aligned to, but I don't have any planets in that house. Well, because that's your house of communication, the full supermoon may impact your communication that you have with others, the way that you communicate with others, how you like to receive communication from others. But it may not be as heavy as someone who has an actual planet in that house aligned to Capricorn. Okay, so that's the thing about this July 6th energy with that moon opposing Venus and Mars. Now, July 7th, as we're wrapping up the first 7 days of July, we have Mercury sextile Uranus. So sextile, like I said, it's energy blending together, so that's great. And this week ends with a drive to get creative, okay? Get creative with the way that we communicate and express ourselves, because Mercury, as you know, is our communication planet. So that, like I said, it's a lot going on. It's not a lot, but it's a lot. So I hope that that has been helpful to you. As always, I recommend pulling your chart. Definitely feel free to do the research on your own. Astrology is a lifelong study. It's a lifelong journey, a lifelong practice. It is a passion of mine. I provide chart analysis services, and my booking link is in the description box. So if you would like someone who has been studying this practice for years and who is truly passionate about it and passionate about helping others to understand not just the individual pieces, but the big picture of their life overall and kind of what makes them tick and why, then I highly recommend just tapping in, exploring astrology on your own. I definitely recommend that, but also to book me, because I'm here, I'm of service, and it would be such a pleasure and an honor to help you in that way, because I do understand and recognize that this is a very, very personal study, because it really is digging into who you are. But that's the fun of it for me, and it's why I would be so honored to assist you in that way. So thanks again. I'll be in touch. Like I said, I'm gonna do that True Node True Node retrograde video, and True Node is in Taurus right now, so that's more of that fixed energy that I mentioned. But I'll be in touch. Thank you. Peace. Ashe.